Welcome everyone to our latest episode of The Testing Room, where three of the gaming industry's best video game consultants who have never actually consulted on a video game bring you new topics each and every week. As always, I'm Alex, aka The Godfather.
Christian, aka Sudowoodoo45.
I'm Preston, aka Funkadelic Jedi.
Yeah, and I get to play Magician with my mute button because I have a pup that is very excited to have a bone. And my mic's picking it up. She's just chomping away. I can see the waveform every once in a while. I'll be like da 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 da.
Well,
So,
don't be very quiet, and I might be able to tone it down enough to where people don't hear it.
yeah, well, I'll just start yelling like the whole time.
In your face at the mic, you're fine.
I still love that Discord cuts that out, so as soon as you go to yell, it's just silent on our end.
Awesome. Well, welcome back, everybody. Hey, boys. As always, let's take a trip over to Preston's comment corner before we get to our weeks.
Yep. Okay.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah.
So we got a
Came
couple
down
comments.
from the bowels.
I was trying to kind of save it for waiting for him to be finished so I can just go into
I was
it.
trying to save it.
It was really one.
Well, yeah. Why were you trying to save it?
Because I thought it'd be funny if I did it right after you got out of there. If that were done with saying what you're saying. All right. Comment corner. All right. We got nice little comment from Jolly Red Giant 203 for the Zone of the Enders, the second run of Part 1. I thought I was the only one that remembered these games. Yeah, we're here for it.
Me and you,
Christian,
man.
Christian forgets nothing. It's a really weird thing that he has, but he forgets nothing when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah.
When old games and just other gaming facts and stuff, it's very uncanny.
Yeah, it's a Kojima game, so it's not too far off. But it's I honestly I think Christian's the only person I know who actually played that game, or at least talks about playing that game. Now we all have. It's very good. It's good. Let's say very good. It's good.
That's fine.
Yeah, it is good.
All right, and then one last one from Mr. M. Meyer. I must say, Preston and I have been friends for a long time. He is indeed one of my best friends. And
True.
for the right reasons. I would follow him to the gates of Mordor with the last bit of HP. But all that being said, Preston will tell you that we have nearly fought to the death over opinions of media. Games, music, films, series. I will always call him out when I think he's wrong or being stupid. Just because I'm agreeing with my buddy right now doesn't mean that all of my opinions are biased. How dare you, Christian? Winky face.
There is just simply no way to know.
There's no way to know. Really
There's
isn't.
just no way to know.
And Christian didn't necessarily say, and maybe he did. I'd have to go back and listen. Every opinion is biased, but this one, because it's such a bad take, is clearly biased.
Let me ask you a question real quick, Alex. Did you do the homework?
Yes, I did.
I did as well.
I
So
didn't.
if we want to give our quick review, we can kind of talk about National Treasure and the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah.
Did you want to give a little something real quick, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, so let me start with National Treasure, because that's what I started with.
Same, that's on Disney.
That movie does not hold up. Like,
I don't think either of them hold up, but yeah.
no, yeah. But like when you're younger, and when the first time I saw it, right, it was like, oh, this is a fun little jaunt. But now as I'm older and I'm watching this, it's just like,
You also become, like us all, but you become way more cynical.
Yeah, well, yeah. So let's start, like,
So
just
the
from the
merriment
very...
and wonder of stealing the Declaration of Independence.
No. It's not even that. From the very beginning, right, where they're like out in the snow and they find the Charlotte, which is the ship.
Sean Bean's hanging out with them with blonde hair.
Yeah, there's a line that the techie friend whose name Riley. So Riley is like they find this pipe, and Nicolas Cage is like, this is a blah 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 pipe, like one of a kind. This is like the only one that
really quick,
exists.
Did you watch this on the plane?
No, I watched it in the hotel room.
Okay, that's fine. Because I just imagine, just because of the work trip stuff, I just imagine that you're sitting there, you were either sitting there on the plane or in the hotel room watching this, and going, I could have been doing anything else right now.
Yeah, no. I watched it in the hotel room. So like they start off and he's like, oh, it's this blah 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 pipe, and when he first gets it, he's like, do you know what this is? And Riley's like, is it $1 billion treasure? And he's like, no, it's this pipe. And he's like, does that mean it's $1 million treasure? And he's like, no, Riley, hush. And they start talking. He's like, it's a clue. And then, because things ensue, right, they end up, like, shooting at each other and then blowing up this ship. And my whole thought process here, as this is happening, is if you're concerned about money, even if you don't have this fantastical treasure, you just found a previously unknown historical ship in the Arctic with other things. Like, the find by itself would be worth millions, and then endorsements and speaking engagements and the book and everything else. And what do? They blow it the fuck up.
Because they're fighting,
right?
Not to mention, like, oh, we just have this gunpowder all up in the ship. It's slowly going to where the barrels are to blow up. I'm like, no. That whole place is, like, in fire immediately, and you're not surviving that at all.
Yeah, like, you if Sean Bean's like, I can't do this, it's another clue. Like, I'm sinking money in this, we need to find this. Like, what the heck, Nick Cage character, you told me. You go, I get it, it's a clue, and that sucks. But while we're trying to decipher this clue, we literally just made millions of dollars with this find right here. Mm-hmm. And then Nicolas Cage is like, he figures it out while they're on the ship, and he's like, oh, it's on the back of the Declaration. Sean's like, well, let me take care of it. Like, we can steal this because I have a past. And Nicolas Cage like, no.
I will never let you do that. And then Sean Bean leaves, and he's like, well, clearly the only way to save it is for me to steal it. It's like, boy, your morals changed real quick. The only other thing, because the rest of it is just ridiculous, right? But, like, the only other thing that really got me is how misogynistic he is. And how, like, they definitely wrote this character of just straight up,
Nick
like...
Cage or Sean Bean?
Oh, yeah, no, Nick Cage. He's like... He walks into the office and he was like, oh, you're a professor, pretty professor. He's like... He hits on her, and in the next scene, they're kissing. And I'm just like, what the fuck
That was
is
his assistant,
this?
but yeah. It's a professor. Like, oh, a pretty professor.
Yeah, and then they're just, like, making out and kissing, and you're just like, I mean, okay, I guess.
Because he gave her that, like, pin or coin or whatever the fuck it was, and she was super happy.
Yeah, she melted. Every scene, they're finding something historical that in its own right would be worth millions. And they're never happy about it. And they just treat it like shit too, right? They just tear it up the whole time. It's insane. So yeah, that's what I had.
I mean, yeah, I will say, just start off, I don't like either of these movies. Neither of these movies are great movies. They're both kind of the bullshit. And this is where I can kind of get into my comparison. But let's say with National Treasure, I agree with Alex. I'll probably agree with him on how he feels about Da Vinci Code as well. Neither of these movies are great. If at all, fairly passable as all right movies. As far as the comparison, I mean, really all I got for you guys is you got two dudes who are looking for historical either facts or artifacts to get them to the next clue, to get them to the thing that they want, whether it's a Holy Grail, a.k.a. fucking,
Jesus'
a person.
cup.
No, Jesus's, Mary Magdalene's grave is what they're trying to find, because that will prove the fact that Jesus had children, and they're trying to stop that from happening. The Knights Templar guarded her body, and they were guarding the Holy Grail, but they're actually guarding the grave. But same thing with like National Treasure. They keep on just finding new clues to get to the next spot to give you more historical facts or maybe not so facts. So it's both of these aren't great movies. I would say I probably like National Treasure a little bit better than I like the Da Vinci Code, because Da Vinci Code was not only bad, but it was even more boring, believe it or not, than that Nick Cage movie National Treasure. So I don't know. Neither of them are great. They are not the same movie, but they do have two guys looking for clues to find something. That is as close as I can get. That's as close as I can get.
That's like saying they're all three the same as fucking Inspector Gadget, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
if Inspector Gadget had a movie to where he was looking for one thing,
he does have a movie,
clues to find that one thing, then yes, I would say they're similar.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
So I got it, like, as soon as...
Gadget Declaration of Independence.
Before I even watched the Da Vinci Code, I knew exactly why people in Preston think they're similar movies, right? Because like they are not the same movie. I actually like the Da Vinci Code better. I don't like Angels and Demons or whatever. Like those are not as good.
The
But like the
sequel.
Da Vinci,
I liked
yeah.
I don't want to say facts. I liked the information the Da Vinci Code presented more than I liked National Treasure's like facts.
Yeah, I also thought that like Dan Brown did a better job in his. I mean, a lot of it followed the book, right? I think that the puzzles were more realistic. So like a cryptograph
Sure.
is more realistic than these like glasses that see invisible writing on the back of the Declaration of Independence, right?
Right, yeah.
So like I like Da Vinci Code better, but I'm also fine. Like I like very dialogue heavy movies anyway and like slow. So I thought it was good. I thought it was better. But like
Meanwhile,
one
Preston's
has
yelling on
to,
the screen, all this yapping.
I know
So much
one,
dialogue. I should skip it.
One is a religious based movie, right?
Yes.
Talking about Jesus' bloodline and the fact that he had kids or didn't have kids. Where the other is literally like, I guess if you just want to consider the Knights Templar religious, it's okay. But like, they're not the same. What
No,
makes
they're
them
not.
feel the same is the pacing and the character traits. So like, Nick Cage is the fucking Rain Man. Like, he literally, in the beginning of in the boat piece, it's not, it's different later, but in the boat part, he's walking around and goes, no, I have this pipe, let me figure it out. He's like, the Charlotte, the boat.
Just
the
saying the
boat.
words to see
And
what
and
triggers
just-
his thing. Yeah.
just words to trigger, right? And then later when on the back of the Declaration of Independence, he just like puts on the glasses and he's like the all-seeing eye, and then he was like the Liberty Bell, blah blah blah, Blake Street. Oh, it's got to be in Philadelphia. We're headed there. In the Da Vinci Code, it's similar.
I love the
and-
different lens. I forgot about that
Yeah,
shit.
it's the glasses with like different
fucking
lenses you can put in.
kaleidoscope
Yeah.
fucking.
Finding that cereal
yes.
box.
In the Da Vinci Code, there's fewer ridiculous puzzles, but it's like I have the pictures at the dead body, and then like I find the note, and then that takes me to like the rose line, right? Like the Roslyn
And the
thing, and then,
coding
like,
or whatever, the
So-
thing he wrote down, like, okay, well, the numbers aren't in sequence, so therefore the words or the letters aren't in sequence, so I gotta
He's-
figure that puzzle out. And he's like, just do the same thing Nicolas Cage is doing, which is like, just spitting out words to see what might trigger. I'm like, oh, that's what
yeah.
it is.
Yeah, but the difference is one of them is a professor and the other's autistic. So that's honestly, and that's how they get there. But it is the pacing. It's like it's that very early 2000s like see a clue, immediately figure out the clue, next set piece, and have that like kind of like 90s chase music going on, right?
Yeah.
Those are the only two things that are similar about this movie.
Yes.
But as somebody that's been away from it for a long time, I get why you say they're the same. But they're definitely
are
not
not.
the same at all.
I can pull strings. I can fucking get some long stretches going to get you reasons why I think that they are the same, but like, no, they're not. They're very much
They're not.
It was more of a funny
They're
bit,
not.
but yeah.
It wasn't funny, but it was also funny to watch Nicolas Cage and his stupid faces. He walks around like he is confused the entire movie. For somebody that's supposed to be like the smartest man in the room,
honestly,
his face is so
probably
dumb.
one of the worst Tom Hanks acting I've ever seen. Like it's not like bad, it's just like very boring and basic and nothing special about it at all. Both of them both have the medium length like professor haircut from the fucking early aughts. Like it's the same thing.
So question, if you're going to die on this hill, is the worst Tom Hanks acting
that I've seen,
better
not saying that's
or,
out there.
No, better or worse than Nicolas Cage at his peak in National Treasure?
Oh, it's worse than him at his peak. 100%.
At his peak in National
In
Treasure.
National
is what he
Treasure.
said.
Oh, National Treasure? No,
Yeah.
I mean it's a
Okay.
really bad Disney
That's all.
movie. Nicolas Cage is phoning in just as much as Tom Hanks is. Tom Hanks is a better actor all over, but I do probably like more of. I don't know. I have to go through. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to continue that thought. Yes, both of them are doing
Riley-
bad jobs at a bad movie, probably because of the writing.
And I also realize how bad of a character Riley is. Like he runs around with the aura. Has everybody here seen Office Space?
Yes.
Yes.
Riley runs around with the aura of the neighbor with the mullet that just wants big speakers that can blow
Oh,
his clothes
yeah.
off. Like that is Riley. At the end, he's like, "Well, you could have had like a tenth of the treasure, but no, you had to give it up." And he's like, "Well, I took like a sixth of the treasure. He's like, and I get a measly 1% as he hops in his Ferrari. And he's like, 1%, whatever your name is, could have had more, and throws on his glasses. And like, you're just the dude from Office Space.
Yeah.
That's
Not
that's
great
all
movies
you are.
overall.
No.
Real quick before we get out of this corner, February is coming up. In fact, by the time this releases, February is here. So let's go
February's
through
tomorrow.
February game releases. Running it through. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Rogue
Racist
Waters. Is it a racist game?
Wait, is it a racist game?
So it's mostly just a bit, but
Okay.
Kingdom Come Deliverance, the first one, was really, it got under some fire originally when, I believe it was this game anyway, but it came on some fire originally when people noticed when they were posting up trailers and whatever, that there were nary a person of color to be seen in anywhere of this game. And when they asked the developer was like,
You mean in Camelot?
yeah, they were just like, there were no people of color back then.
Like, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I get what they're saying.
I know what they're saying.
What they're saying is in that geographic
could've-
area at the time is what you should have said.
Which
right?
is what
Not
they
just
did. They were like,
yeah.
they elaborated and they were like, blah, blah, like the whole historical accuracy bullshit. But at the end of it, it was like, yeah, but this is a game that's like, sure, like, you have that part of the historical accuracy, but everything you're doing in the game is like very fantastical.
Oh
and
yeah,
whatever,
they could add people of color 100%.
And so it was like,
Yeah.
but is this really like the hill you need to die? But yeah, I remember, so people always talked about like when there's a person in our league who bet on it, and he was like, he made a joke where when he bet on the game, somebody else bid on it, and he was like, I see that there's another racist in this group.
I did not understand. I did not understand that joke as it came through, and now now it makes sense.
Yes.
Now it makes sense. All right.
All right. Like I was going through Rogue Waters, Rift of the Necrodancers on the 5th. Big
Is that a
Helmet
sequel?
Heroes. Is that?
Rift of the Necrodancer, is that a sequel? Or is that coming to a different platform?
That's PC.
It's coming to PC, but it is technically a sequel. So the first game was Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Crypt of the
This
Necrodancer.
is Rift of the Necrodancer. I don't know.
Yep.
Preston, I told you to check this out when it was on the Steam demos. I don't know if you ever did. I think the demo's still up now that it's coming out. You would dig it though.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to check it out. I've saw a trailer for it.
I remember Crypt of the Necrodancer is why. Okay.
And then we have Big Helmet Heroes. Sworn is coming to the PC. A game about digging a hole is the name of that game.
Okay.
Civilization 7. Hyper Devotion. Yep. Hyper Devotion Noir Goddess Black Heart is coming out.
Oh,
Switch.
That's the full name.
That sounds
full
Japanese as fuck.
Yep.
Naming things is hard.
Naming things is very hard, apparently. Recall Empty Wishes coming out on the 13th. Slime Heroes 13th. Urban Myth Disillusion Center on the 13th. Project Tachyon on the 14th.
I actually got tired hearing that name. Like you were saying that name, and I
I'm
was
just
like,
done listening already. Yeah.
and I was like, I might actually fall asleep right now.
Checked out.
I gotta record you. I gotta record you saying a bunch of names like that, and then just play it as my sleep track going to
Yeah,
bed.
just have that go on repeat. Where was I? Date Everything comes out on everything on February 14th. The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak 2 comes out on PC, PS5, PS4, and Switch on the 14th. Tomb Raider 4 through 6 Remastered comes out on everything on the 14th.
So is 4 through 6 one of the titled ones, or is that the old one?
Those are the old ones
game have
remastered.
many?
Yeah, because they did 1 through 3, and now they're just doing the rest of them, I guess.
These
Oh, I
ones have
remember 1 through
dinosaurs in
3.
them.
I just didn't remember there being that many of the old ones.
I don't either. It's okay.
All right.
Avowed comes out on PC and the Xbox Series boxes.
Oh shit, that's finally coming out, huh?
February 18th. I'm slightly excited about that. I want to see how people feel about that first. That's like the Elder Scrolls game.
That's
right?
Obsidian's new game.
Yeah, Obsidian's new game.
Yeah. We'll see. That
Yep.
could be interesting.
Could be. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage Tape 1 comes out on the 18th. Here's one. Godzilla Voxel Wars comes out on the Switch. That's February 20th. Shout out to Casey from Two Worlds. That's, it might be something he's looking into. The King of Fighters 13 Global Match comes out on PC on the 20th. And here's one for you boys. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii comes out on everything except for Switch.
I can't wait to play that in the summer when I have time to play it.
I thought you were going to say, I can't wait to play this the entire year of 2025.
No.
Like
Well-
I did the last one.
Well,
Hey, start
Never
it
say
up.
never.
Yeah, then
Never
start
say
it up
never.
and then just...
I got a lot of cans to open in 2025.
Die in the Dungeon comes out 21st. Ninja 5.0 on the 25th. Khaldun X3 on the 27th. Crystar on the 27th. Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection on the 27th. Monster Hunter Wilds on the 28th. That will be taking over our world. Get ready after the 28th to hear us talk about Monster Hunter Wilds for months to come.
Yep.
PGA Tour 2K25 on February 28th, sorry. Amber Isles on Switch.
Imagine launching a game the same day as Monster Hunter Wilds.
I mean,
if
the
you're
point?
gonna do it, a yearly golf game is probably the one to do.
yes. Golf.
Yeah,
not
I mean,
golf.
yes.
Yes. But I mean, to be fair, like, people who are going to buy the PGA game, we're going to buy the PGA game. Monster Hunter is not going to stop them.
Yeah, I just feel like for like indie games and stuff, like you're gonna get buried in the news cycle. Like,
Oh, yeah.
just delay it, or release it early. But
I would release it if I'm an indie game. I would probably try to release it 2 weeks early.
The rest of these have been announced as February but don't have dates. Amber Isle. Drink Rhyme. Metabots Survivors. Morsels. On Your Tail. And Midnight Murder Club. That is the games for February 2025.
right on.
I
Those
watched
last
the
three
trailer.
definitely feel like they're gonna get delayed, considering that we are in the month of February.
Well, so I watched the trailer of Morsels because it popped through in our fantasy
Yep.
league, and I looked into that. I would be surprised if that comes out this month because they were part of the like Nintendo Indie Direct thing. They were showcased there, so I don't see why you wouldn't maybe just wait till the Switch 2 comes
2
out and
when it
say
comes out.
on
maybe.
everything, right? So like, it wouldn't surprise me if that one gets delayed.
Yeah. Or just
Yeah.
does a basic port. Yeah. So like, yeah, it's like that's a conversation for another time. All right, but yeah, that's it for the Comic Corner.
Cool. I can
Nice.
go for weeks if we want to
New
do that.
weeks.
Damn,
We've been playing.
Whatever, you've been going first every year.
Why'd you
Or
wait till-
every week.
that's not even remote.
I went first last week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. But other than
See?
that, you've been like, I'll go. I've got nothing. I've been playing Warhammer.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
That's how it be.
Yeah, so let's see. Like, Alex and I finished Act 3 of Path of Exile.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough goings there, but we did it.
Nice
I-
if you had a
can
third
I-
person to help you out, right?
Can I say, Christian, I am so happy that we did that. We got to experience it together.
I agree. Yes,
Yeah.
You two. Together.
It is nice when you know it
When
reminds me
friends
a lot of
play
when the
together.
it reminds me a lot of when the three of us were playing through Monster Hunter Rise together.
Yeah.
And we always made sure that we always did the story and the side quest together. So all the new monsters, anything like that, we always experienced fresh. I remember seeing, all those like the new like Elder Dragons and stuff, and we had to see those together. I think that was
Experience
real
it
cool.
together. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so Christian and I had a situation. I think we've talked about it. We were playing with Travis. We were giving him crap last week for playing without us. We sent a text jokingly in our group, and we're like, "You probably beat it," and he said, "Yeah, solo dolo, lol." And
What?
I
Wait,
think
what?
Christian and I
I definitely
both
did.
understood that as a joke. Well, I did too because I confronted him about it. we were talking about it because we did a movie night. And we were talking about it, and I was like, "Have you beaten it?" Or like, "What level are you?" He's like, "I told you I did." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I said like, yeah, solo dolo." I was like, "Bro, I thought that was a joke,"
Yeah,
and I'm so
totally
happy to hear that you also thought it was a joke.
Yeah, I thought it was so much of a
Thought we were
joke that I
friends.
actually, yeah, like I completely threw it out of my memory until you
Same.
brought it up, and then when he was like, "Yeah, I beat it," I was like, "What?" And then he was like, "Yeah, I'm also like 26 levels ahead of you guys." It was like, "Bro, what the fuck?" And he's like, "Oh, also, I got like some sick drop, and so I went onto the market board and bought a fuck ton of crazy ass gear, and so you know,
The gear piece was funny because earlier in the conversation he was like, "I'll be honest with you guys, I'm finding cruelty easier than the basic one." And then like an hour later he talks about finding that item and getting geared up
It's like,
for it.
Like
And
Preston will remember this because he was there for original like Diablo 3, but like that real money auction house where you could spend money to buy gear. This game doesn't have anything like that, but what it does do is say like, hey, if you get a really rare drop, you can go and say, hey, I'm willing to trade this rare drop for what, like, you know, X amount of whatever, right? And so then like X amount of gear. So it's like, hey, you know, I have this really good, I don't know, like warrior drop or something like that. What I want is a sick ass rogue drop for it, or you know, whatever, right? And so that's what Travis did. But it would be like if somebody went on original Diablo 3 and was like, yo, yeah, I spent $100 and got like full fucking like unique gear for everything, and now, dude, I'm on Torment 4 and I can't be stopped. I don't know what's happening. Like, it's just crazy. And
I put it out of my head until he joined us later and he started rolling through shit, and all of a
No.
sudden it hit me, and I was like, no wonder, like,
Yeah,
you're
dude, not
finding it
just
so
rolling
much
through shit. There
easier.
was a boss that Alex and I were fighting. Now, it should be said. I know we've said it before, but just to reiterate for listeners and stuff. So, Path of Exile 2 is in early access. It's only on version 1. It's like 0.12, I think. So it's very very early still. Tons of balancing still needs to happen. All sorts of stuff, right? And one of those balancing things is the scaling when it comes to multiple people, because there was some bosses that Alex and I that were big DPS checks that we were just getting fucking worked on. That then if we would split up, they were easier. But when we were together, it was like way like the math was not math in there. Either way though, it scales for each the amount of people that are in your party.
Yeah.
So we were fighting this boss, just the two of us, and we maybe got her down to like 50% twice, maybe.
Yeah.
And it was, every time we would be running out of health potions, like we were fucked. It was tough. Travis joins, and when I tell you that the health bar was like a F1 race, like it was just like, and it was just gone.
Yeah.
And
His first attack took it down to like 40%. We're just like laughing.
yeah,
Like,
I
what
was
just
like,
happened?
dude, so it was. There was that like she was skipping phases. Like the AI couldn't even figure out what move it wanted to do next because she just so much got deleted all at once, and that's not to just to bring back the point from earlier, which is he was a third person on our team, which means the difficulty went up. Like it went even higher, and the scaling went even higher, and it was still moving that fast. God forbid, I think he probably could have one-shot it if he was just solo by himself. That's the level of fucking craziness that we were dealing. So yeah, but he gets in, he's like, okay, so you guys are gonna have to be careful of this mechanic, and then it was just like, anyway, here's a nuke, and it was just like gone, and we were like, all right, I guess that's how you do that. Like, fuck, man. And so then Alex and I were roasted because we were just like, well, yeah, dude, of course you're. I can't imagine you're having that hard of a time if you've got fucking god tier gear on. Meanwhile, Alex and I killed one of the story bosses we had to kill twice because of some weird sequence breaking shit. And then the other two bosses we killed just once, but we went through, and we got dick for drops. Nothing. Alex got one unique to drop, and it was 30 levels below him.
No,
Yeah, I'm I was a 36 and it dropped it. Or the gear I was wearing is
You
a
were
36. I'm a
yeah.
45.
Yeah,
right.
45.
So I'm still not even getting gear at my level. I was wearing 36 boots and it dropped an orange and they were 16.
Yeah. Meanwhile, fucking Travis over here drowning. I mean, he seriously couldn't do more damage if he wanted to. He is bleeding edge.
I was not. He was helping us clear an area. I didn't even attack. I was running with the group, and as long as you're close, you're getting XP. I wasn't even attacking. I was just running, and he was wiping and deleting everything, and I'm just like collecting the XP as I'm running around.
Sounds like Christian when he was leveling me up in Diablo 4. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna follow you
yeah,
through these
yeah.
dungeons. You just gotta mow through stuff. I'm just gonna get experience. It's fine.
Yeah, dude. It was, oh man, it was wild. Yeah, so that happened. It was funny, but it was good. Look, I'm very, very excited for that full game. I have gotten enough that now, like, if I ever feel like popping on, I might just to check things out, like any changes they've made, like balance changes and stuff. But I got to see the first act of that story. Here's what I'll say. And it's been said before, but just to put a final pin in it, if it continues at that quality, it will beat Diablo 2. It will be the best ARPG that has ever been made. It is the story, it has like really good hooks in it. All of the enemy design, every single enemy is just so good, and all of the spell, like everything is so satisfying. All of the stuff, I can't wait to see where it goes. It's great.
Yeah.
And they've been very responsive on feedback, just like when they were doing Path of Exile 1. So shout out to them. Getting ready for, because this will also be, or it's out now, so getting ready for Citizen Sleeper 2, which launched today.
Mm-hmm.
I went
did
through. It did, yes. That game is out now, and it's actually on a 20% sale right now as its launch day, which is very cool.
Today.
Yeah. So I had realized when it was getting ready to come out that I still have never played through the Steam version, because my original playthrough was on Xbox.
Same.
And so I was like, let's do that. So I blasted through that game.
Is there any benefit to playing on the Steam version before you dive into 2?
No, I just wanted to just do it just because I like the
Sure.
story, and it was just all good. Man, that game still special. It really just does it for me. It's good. I chose a couple different endings that I hadn't seen, like that I chose before, like with the mercenary and other stuff like that. So that was cool. I did. It was like the power curve in that game is just like nuts. Where it's just you start out and like you're like, oh fuck man, like my condition's going down. I got to try to balance all this stuff, and then as you just get a handle on more stuff and you get more, it just feels so good to like. You're basically like, staking a claim in that little world and being like, no, like I'm gonna fucking survive and do all this, and like it's just being able to reroll dice and do all this other shit. Like it feels good. I'm really excited for the second one. But yeah, that first one's great. All the characters, God, and the art is so good in that game too. Let's see. The next thing is I finished all 3 routes of the Dynasty Warriors Origins. So I'm done with that game now. Man, the best thing that I'll say, so they might have done this in older ones and I just probably didn't know, but it's the first time I've ever gotten to experience it. But my first playthrough, I went through, and then you unlock like a special weapon from like a really crazy character that's been in all the games. But you get his moveset also. And man, does it make those second and third playthroughs just a cakewalk. Like, you're basically getting to play as like a boss almost, like going through. And so there was like numbers I was putting up that was so crazy. Like there was one, so at the end it like will say like, so-and-so, you're the greatest battle that they did, and then here's the number of enemies that they, killed and blah, blah, blah. And like I had like it was like over 5,000 kills in one that was just like because of the like the craziness that this weapon can create in this moveset, which was really fun and cool. But yeah, so that game's great. What a great breath of fresh air for that series. It was awesome. And the only other thing that I've been doing is this is just for Preston. So Street Fighter 6, you and I lost control of the club that we created for the podcast.
Yeah.
Because we had stopped
back.
I gained it back today.
So for a while? Okay.
Yeah. So he hadn't played for a while, and so I was like, I had realized that he hadn't been on, and I was like, dude, if I log in, I wonder if it'll just give it to me. So I literally I opened up Street Fighter today, just like right when I got up, opened it up, and it comes in. It's like, hey, you're in charge of this club again. And I was like, yeah, great, okay.
For those of you who don't know, like you can start your own club with obviously you get your friends together so that we can kind of see your stats and kind of go through that. You can have like a little icon and everything for your club, but
Yep.
if the captain or leader, whoever it is, what do you want to call it, doesn't play for a while, and
30 days.
30 days. Doesn't play for 30 days, and someone else is playing during that time, that like little captain, leader will move over to whoever's actually playing the game. So Christian lost that, was it for good? Almost a full fucking year.
Almost a full year, yeah. And Preston, we couldn't invite anybody. We couldn't do anything about it. And this guy does not have the same schedule as Preston and I. He's got kids, so it's fine. But so we could never sync it up to make it work or do anything like that. Yeah. So we just were like, there was people that we would play with, and they were like, "Oh, you invite us to the thing," and we were like, "Yeah."
We would love to, but we don't have control.
If we could,
yeah,
if we could,
to the club.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, well, good.
Yeah. So got that. But the only other thing I've been doing is I've been playing Monster Hunter World, trying to kill Fatalis before Wilds comes out, because I never did that when Alex and I went and got the platinum before. Because thank God, for us, Fatalis was not part of the platinum, and he's hard as fuck. Or at least he was back then. I will say, so we've been going through it, and I have made it almost to the end of Iceborne, and I still never went and got the temporal mantle, like the one that lets you do automatic dodges or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it is kind of crazy where it's so much of this game, or so much of this series, I should say, is muscle memory, especially now having played Rise, where Rise is way faster and enemies are way faster, and they do that because your mobility is way faster because you have the wire bug and all this other stuff. Whereas now World feels so everything is so telegraphed and slow and all this other stuff that I was just having a really easy time dodging stuff and going through it. So yeah, I'm almost to the end of that, so I want to try to get Fatalis before that.
Wait on me for Fatalis.
Okay.
Do other stuff. Like I said, I'll catch up. You might have to help me go through some stuff just because
yeah, that's fine.
If we're both on, but yeah, it seems like from where you are, shouldn't take me too.
No, you should be fine. But. Yeah, no, it's been good. I love Monster Hunter, man. It's
good stuff.
Great series.
Can't wait for them.
And when the three of us get into Wilds, Preston was not joking. This will just be the Monster Hunter podcast for a while.
You remember when me and Christian got into Guilty Gear Strive, and that's pretty much all we talked about for 5 fucking straight months?
Yeah.
That's going to be all 3 of us with Monster Hunter.
Yep.
Coming out.
Yep.
Fairly shortly. So.
Yeah.
Please don't unsubscribe.
Yeah, what'd you say?
I said, please don't unsubscribe.
Yeah.
You know what? Get Monster Hunter so that you can enjoy it with us. Fuck it.
Yeah, dude.
Get on it.
We'll play with everybody.
We're gonna have a hunting guild for the testing room podcast. So
yeah. Comment down below your username and we'll fucking put you in when I get there.
We offer carries. We used to carry all the time. Christian and I used to laugh when it came to World because Preston didn't play as much World with us at the time. We're we're the best American players there are.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably.
Yeah, we did do that.
I give it to you.
Yeah, whereas in Rise, you stopped playing and Preston and I kept playing.
Yep.
And Rise, there was very nice Japanese players that played as heavy bowgun, and they got Preston and I through some dicey situations.
You'd be sitting there sweating, and that name that comes up that you can't pronounce, you're like, oh, thank God. Oh,
and then you saw the heavy bowgun logo, and you went, oh,
kanji?
We're good.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, we're in.
Yeah.
I mean, we did the same thing happen in the World. The same thing happens in all those Monster Hunter games.
If you're a Japanese player jumps in.
You're playing the game, and all of a sudden, like Billy Ray 947 joins. So like, well,
All right.
looks like we're gonna be trying again in a minute. But if it's Kanji, you're like, let's roll.
Hell yeah, we're gonna win this.
What do you got?
Yeah, in World, I think it was
Heavy bowgun or a hunting horn?
If you saw a hunting horn
gold.
player, you were like, oh, you're about that life. Okay.
Serious. Somebody's serious.
Fair enough. I do. So for this will be out before then. So just for anybody who's interested, if you've never played a Monster Hunter game before and you want to check it out, there is a new demo coming out February 6th. Try it out. It's
and
going
the
to be free
weekend
to go.
after that as well. Yes, that'll be the cross.
Yeah. True.
2 weekends.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. 2 weekends. Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Mess around with the weapons. See what you like. Go through. I'm gonna download it just because I want to try all the weapons and just like really
See
feel
what
it out.
feels
I
good.
know I'm gonna pick greatsword. I know it's just in my nature. I'm gonna do it. But
You can
we'll
have the
see.
great sword, and you can have another weapon sitting there right on your mount for you to pick up
You
and just do
can.
whatever you
It'll
want.
be
I
a
will be
second.
rocking.
It'll be a second greatsword.
Yeah, I will be rocking either dual glaives or glaive and dual blades.
Yeah.
Just super speed.
Yeah. I really like the heavy bowgun when I did it during the beta for a little bit. So, and I played a little bit of World with that. So I'm very. I think I'm gonna start with that. Just if I, for some reason I feel like I'm just not feeling it, I'll go to longsword. But yeah, I'll try heavy bowgun.
Bring back your weeaboo stance.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Sit
think
there
I've been
and
on
take-
glaives since the DS version, the first Monster Hunter I played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
have
was
been
on
in
the
Slave for that long. Yeah.
PSP, I think.
Yeah.
My first one.
First, yeah, Monster Hunter Freedom Unite was on PSP.
Yeah,
The
that was the
first
first one I
Monster,
played.
like, Monster Hunter 1 was on PS2, and boy, there's
Well, I had
reason
no
to go back
idea
to
what
that
I was
one.
doing. I was the only person who I knew who ever tried a Monster Hunter, and like I had no fucking clue what I was doing in that game.
It is, to call those early games obtuse would be being way too nice. It is
Not a lot of hand-holdy, trainy stuff. Yeah.
not even that. It's just like they just, I don't know who when they made those games thought like, yeah, this is the way a video game should control. Like, it was crazy, but it's a lot better now. Yeah, that was it, man. That was my week.
Alex, you want to go since you got the club game?
Sure, yeah, I don't have that much. As Christian said, we beat Path of Exile 2. I spent a lot of the week traveling, so I haven't played a lot of games. But I did, so continuing my joke about me being a professional Warhammer player, it's becoming less and less of a joke. I did actually beat the game on the harder DLC difficulty.
Okay.
Which, like, this one, so it's mostly for operations. Like, you can't do it with the computer. Like, you gotta do it with people.
Yeah.
I think in the operations, theoretically, you could do it with a computer, but it wouldn't make any sense. So, like, what they do in this one is, of course, there's, like, way more enemies, there's harder enemies, there's way less ammo, but you also get a buff or debuff depending on how close you are to each other.
Oh, nice.
So, and that debuff does not go away if people die. So, like, if you're the last person standing, it's not like, oh, you're the last one, you're close. Like, you get it, no, like, your damage and everything goes down. Also, typically, when you get injured and your health goes down, you go down to a knee and they can pick you up. Or if you get hit a second time, it's a mortal wound, and then, like, you actually go down for the count. This one, like, every hit essentially takes you down for the count. And instead of being, like, a minute, it's 5 minutes.
Oh.
Where you were playing without. It's, yeah, insane. Either way, I did it. And now I have a sweet, like, helmet. Thank you. I have a sweet helmet where, like, the right-hand side's all destroyed and, like, and the eyes, like, blinking to kind of show that you did it. And then I have a sword for a class I don't use yet that shows you, like, its skin to show you did it as well.
Hell yeah.
And it's perfect. Like, I did it just in time because they're doing a new DLC, a free DLC coming.
I saw dropping soon.
They said early February, like probably the 6th or something. Like, new class and other stuff, but they're also doing a whole nother DLC difficulty called Absolute. So there is that. I freaking love that game, guys. I don't know what to
great.
tell you.
It's a great game.
Between that and 14,
Fantastic game.
that 14 and Monster Hunter that's about to come out, like, I'll be good for a while. That's fine.
Yakuza, Citizen Sleeper
Yeah.
2, Assassin's
if
Creed
things-
after that.
If things go south in the world today, I'll just become
Or
a
any
recluse.
day.
Yeah, I'll just
day.
become a
yeah.
recluse and I'll just play these games. That's it. I won't talk to
yeah, I've had that conversation with multiple people where it's like, I just I need new game recognitions, Preston. Like, I just need to, like, not think about what's happening in the world, and I need to, like, focus on my games. I'm like, got you. Bet.
Let me tell you about Monster Hunter.
Yeah, let me tell you about Monster Hunter. Because you cannot beat that game. You can beat it, but you're not going to be done.
Have you heard about our Lord and Savior Tigrex?
Yeah.
Please let me spread.
Have you heard of the never-ending
Spread
game
the
called
word.
Final Fantasy XIV?
Yes. So, yeah, I'm trying to think. That's really all I played. I downloaded a couple of games with the intent to play, and I did not. And then I immediately, like, after a day of not playing them, just deleted them back off my Steam Deck. Because I was like, we're not that far from, like, Monster Hunter and other stuff, so there's no reason.
Yep.
Yeah, what I anticipate happening is, like, on my Steam Deck, I'll try and catch up to do the Monster Hunter thing, right? I'll beat Monster Hunter Iceborne with Christian. But then, like, on my PC in 4 days, I'm going to have DLC for Space Marine, which will take me to the release of Wilds, and then, like, literally Space Marine will be the game I play when I've done everything else and I'm not allowed to play story with you guys. Yeah. I'll just be, everything else will be Monster Hunter. So yeah, that's my week. Super, super easy. And then, of course, the game that we'll talk about later this week in our book club, Jusant. I played that as well. Jusant.
All right. I have been playing a little more Zenless because we're doing late recording this week, so I had a lot of extra time during the day. Just kind of going through all the events and stuff that they got going on. They're starting to give people like new outfits and things like that. The fun part that I did want to bring to the table for the podcast today is they did a Fall Guys Light with the Bang Boos, like the little bunny guys you have there. It's like 18 players, and the maps are shorter, and there's not like a, hey, you got top 3, so you get to continue on the next one. It's just one level every time. It is just as frustrating as Fall Guys. I got through it, I think I like won first place kind of thing. They still do the map to where it's like a bunch of layers, don't fall down or fall down and then just make sure not to get to the bottom, not be one of the last people to get to the bottom. And then a couple of the levels that are just like, things are spinning around, you gotta jump around for stuff and do a little platforming and stuff. You can knock people, I sometimes hit them, so you have 2 actions. You can jump and you can dive. If you dive towards somebody...
you have a lot of experience with that?
I do. I have a lot of frustration and experience with that.
Yep.
Looking at somebody else.
They're game mechanics. I don't know what to tell you.
But they added a little, and this is definitely a mechanic that they put in here because it's not just something that randomly happened to me. This happened every time someone would dive at me and hit me. Obviously, it moves your character a little bit, and there's like, precarious ledges and stuff you don't want to fall off of. But when they hit you, it also moves your camera. So when you're running forward and you're trying to make a jump or you're trying to see where you're going, somebody hits you, your camera just goes ever so slightly to like the left or the right. And at first I'm like, okay, this is strange. And then it kept happening. I'm like, these motherfuckers put this in here as an actual thing that's supposed to happen to you. I'm like, you sons of bitches. But I got all the rewards and everything I need out of it, so I don't have to play that part of it anymore.
Are they doing a Chinese New Year thing for that game? Because it is like a Chinese game.
Yeah, they did the New Year thing, so it's, they did the... I forget what they call it for this game universe, but it's just the New Year.
I didn't think to try this when I had played the game, but I've seen a lot of videos recently of Marvel Rivals and how there are certain things that you definitely can't type into that chat. Like,
that's correct.
Taiwan is a real country.
Or free Taiwan, yeah.
Or calling China West Taiwan. And or asking if you type any variation of Tiananmen Square or the date that happened or anything like that. Does Zenless Zone Zero also have a chat that blocks all that stuff?
You know what?
There's not
Google
chat.
it. I'll Google it.
There's not chat. Okay.
Preston doesn't want to try anything to get him banned from that game forever.
There's no chat. I mean, you could probably message your friends if you have a friends list. I have people who I know who play that game. I don't have them on my friends list because there's nothing really we can do that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm sure you can get together and play the arcade games like the Snake or whatever that's there, Dig Dug, whatever that's there. I'm sure you can do that, but there's no like, as far as I'm aware, there's no like, we're gonna get together and we're gonna battle with our characters and like or PvE stuff. I don't think there's anything like that, at least
Got
yet.
it. Okay.
But yeah, the New Year's event was new character. She's like a pop star, and there's a cool whole story section to where there's this dope ass like New Year's event. This building or this part of the building like is kind of powered by her song and the staff that she has, and things get fucked up, the things are plummeting to the ground, and then with the power of everyone together singing the song, it powers the ship to safely land, and like it was pretty good. The story,
like
the main story is always pretty fucking good, like a lot better than I would expect it to be. All the side quest stuff, I turn to Alex and I am pressing that fucking A button as fast as I can just to get through all this dialogue and just bullshit stuff, because none of it really means much. All like the dialogue options you have there are barely even flavored, because I've had it to where 2 options for what you want to say, the same fucking thing happens to where I say the one thing, but actually the dialogue is just both those things into one. I'm like, why are you even doing this? Why do we even have an option? So it's just, I'm powering through the side quest stuff to get pulls, but the main stuff is still very, very good. I like it.
So Christian, this week we at work we were playing with DeepSeek a bit. For those of you that don't know, DeepSeek is the
cheaper
new
way
AI that was apparently trained for a fraction of the cost that NVIDIA does. Yeah. Which, by the way, somebody also said they just trained their model the same way DeepSeek did for $30 recently. Anyway, we were playing with it, and one of my coworkers typed in just something about like, tell me about the big events that happened in XYZ year, and it was the year of Tiananmen Square. So it starts populating, and it's typing, and it was like, oh, and this year some of the main events were like, follow the Berlin Wall, blah, blah, blah. Then it was like, it got halfway through typing the word
and
Tiananmen,
then it cuts it out. I've seen it.
Blank. And then straight up, like, I have a video of that happening, and it
yanks it back.
Yeah.
It yanks it back, and then it's like, hey, sorry, we actually can't process this request right now. And
funny, something happened. I don't know what happened. What's weird? It's weird.
Amazing. I told him to try, like, I told him to do the next prompt of, like, what are your feelings of Taiwan, or is Taiwan a country or whatever. More specific. But he did not tell me what happened when he did that one.
It does the same thing. You'll see it start to type immediately, and then it backs out and says, hey, there's
nothing we can do for it.
There's an error. There's nothing we can do right now. Can I just say, there is nothing, and I don't know why, but there is nothing funnier to me than testing the limits of Chinese censorship and people coming up with creative ways, like new ways to have them find new things to block. Because for a while, all it was like, hey, we're just going to block Taiwan and Tiananmen Square, like all these things that are old, right? But people calling China West Taiwan is incredible.
Or Xi Jinping Winnie the Pooh.
Yes,
which is also very funny.
All of those are great, and so like having to have them go and add new terms or new things to that block list because people have found ways to get around it is just my hat's off to you.
It's funny.
We're gonna have to change.
It's just like making fun of the British. It's always morally correct to do so.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to change our podcast bio. It's like, catch us anywhere where you get your podcasts, except in China, because I'm sure we're gonna be banned.
I'm sure with what we just said now, we will not.
It triggered something in the algorithm for sure.
Yeah.
All right, keeping with the small little dabbles, I had, in fact, actually, my credit card, and this was like last month or whatever, but credit card. I guess you could call it got hacked or whatever. Essentially, they found a fraudulent charge trying to go through. They canceled my credit card, sent me a debit card, sent me another one, right?
Did you ever tell that story about what you did on
Probably not live on the podcast. No, they don't need to know that.
Okay.
I mean, you should. You should as a warning.
Hey, guys, when you find something that's like super cheap that you kind of want and you go to pay for it, and you should probably pay attention to where that website's coming from. And if there's a whole bunch of Chinese bullshit on it, you probably shouldn't order from that, especially when it's like a commander deck that, is usually like $50 and they're selling it to you for like $8. You probably should like not believe it.
Was the entire website in Chinese?
No, it looked like a very real like American like storefront, and then you go to pay for it, and then like the receipt you get, you're like, oh, this is not an American company.
It's John Cena doing his apology
shipping
with eyes
you get,
the
fucking the tracking comes to you, and you're like, oh, this is gonna end well. It's going to be like when I tried to buy my sister like Apollo Creed shorts, and I got like some fake Oakleys in the mail. It was like a couple years ago. Yeah, that happened. Preston loves to like just
Preston,
risk things. He's a risk taker, you know? I'm a daredevil.
How often does this happen to you?
More than once. That's too many times.
Oh, dude, there is so many times that Preston has been like we'll be doing something. Yeah, dude, like it happened so many times at Best Buy. I remember coming in and we'd be talking about doing something. He's like, oh, yeah, I got to wait till next week. And I was like, oh, what's the deal? He's like, oh, no, I just don't have a debit card right now. And it was like, why? I was like, oh, yeah, I got to cancel. Like, President he lets that come out there like a 19th century streetwalker. Like, he is just like letting it just go out there. No penicillin, nothing.
Shout out to my bank. They're looking out for their brother. All right.
I'm sure they have notes on your account.
Yeah. Well, since that happened, my Game Pass expired, and of course couldn't recharge me, but they were trying to recharge me and send me emails. I got a couple extra days out of my Game Pass because of that, and because I had an extra day, I'm like, I'm going to cancel this real quick. I'm going to, obviously I'm not going to put my new card on there, but I'm going to cancel, make sure they don't try to like somehow say, hey, you've been playing for a month, you owe us now. So I'm like, okay.
It's good. Well, good fucking luck getting that from my cold dead body.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you better get in line with the people in China that are trying to charge that shit.
And this was the day that they did their developer direct kind of thing for Microsoft, where they announced that Ninja Gaiden Black 2 was out on Game Pass. Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, fuck it. Like on a day, I'm like, I know that I'm not good at these games, but I want to try out like the Black 2 version.
Yeah, that series is hard as fuck.
It's very hard.
I've never beaten one. I've never been good at them either.
Yeah, no. I went through, I played the first chapter, and it looks great. It plays how I remember it playing, to where it's, you are a very cool ninja man. You need to focus on not dying. Looking cool will just possibly happen, but you need to focus on not dying. Camera can be a little rough. There's no targeting other than I aimed in that direction, so hopefully, the game will do its thing and target that character over there. Which, to be fair, on its part, I played through the first chapter and didn't have a horrible time. So
it's like older DMC stuff where it's still cameras, like it's fixed camera position. Like when you walk into an arena, like that's the view you get.
But if you're in a hallway and the wall's in the way, it will show your character, but it won't show you anything around. It'll show you the wall. So if you're trying to figure out where enemies are, where they're coming, what they're doing,
fuck you.
It's an old game. It's an old game that they just kind of, made a little bit better. And now here they took out like some bullshit bosses and kind of maybe.
Yeah, it is. It has actually like a huge jump over Sigma. Yeah.
The black versions of Ninja Gaiden are known as to be like the better versions of like the originals. So that's why I wanted to jump into it and kind of like just, hey, I got one more day. I remember thinking Ninja Gaiden was cool back in the day, but you could never beat those fucking games because they're hard as fuck. And so I played the first chapter. It was fun. If you're into those Ninja Gaiden games, Black 2 is a good new addition. Or you can just wait for Ninja Gaiden 4?
Yeah, which that game honestly looks fucking like that might be...
Or the side-scroller one also looks very good.
It might be for real. If people are ever interested in doing Ninja Gaiden...
Black 1
you still
Black
can't
2.
beat Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, Black 1 and Black 2 now, but you can't beat Ninja Gaiden Black 1. I mean, the game's just... Yeah,
you can beat it. It's a good game. They say you can't beat it compared to others. Yes.
Yeah.
Dabbled a little bit of that, and then we started up Jedi Power Battles Remastered on this Star Wars Sunday stream, 9:30 Central Time in the morning. And I was worried because I remember this back in the day. I remember me and my neighbor could not beat it as far as get past like the second Naboo level. I played it, and this is definitely a game to where blocking and deflecting is key. You don't want to go in Force Unleashed just swinging at things. That's not this game. So, I focused. I did it right. I'm playing through the game. No, I'm playing on easy because I knew that I was going to push my shit in. And there's only easy or Jedi. I'm like, well, I'm going to start off on easy to see how this goes. And I'm going through it. I'm just not having a problem at all. It's a fine game. It's of its era, 1000%. This is not a perfected port.
This is the Preston scale, everybody.
Yes,
so when Preston says this is a fine game, it means it's trash.
He's struggling to finish it. He doesn't want to play.
I'm not struggling to finish it. I'll do just fine. This
Star Wars Outlaws was a fine game.
Yeah, it's got its moments. But this game is 1000% of the era. It is a almost pure port. They did not do anything to improve the way the game plays other than you can use a thumbstick, which, to be fair, I think they probably did that for the Dreamcast version, which is a better version. I've only played the PlayStation 2. I've only played the PlayStation 1 version
PSX,
of it,
yeah.
yes. I only played the PlayStation 1 version of it. And not only does the Dreamcast one look better, but it also, I'm sure, adds thumbsticks and shit like that to it, too, as well. But yeah, I'm playing through it. I'm having a fun time as far as, like, we're not fucking hating the game. We're getting through it. We're having fun. We'll beat it. By the time this comes out, we'll probably have beaten it in easy mode. I might do hard mode, but so everyone can prepare. I don't know why you would need to prepare, but if you just want to know what game I'm playing next, I have been just trying to decide between two games. So I won't let these boys decide for me because they're both around the same length. And I am doing this leading up to... What do you want, Ted? You want to say hi to peoples? Fine. This is Ted. I've been ignoring him all day because I've been working, and he's wondering what I'm doing.
What up, fam?
He's like, what's up, man?
He looks barely awake. He's just like,
Oh, he just got up from a nap. Yeah. He's like, hey, what you doing? You should hang out now, huh? But yeah, we're looking at what we're going to play next. I want you guys to decide for me. Do we play classic Battlefront 2 campaign, or do we play Star Wars Empire at War, which is made by the Command & Conquer devs?
Oh, a Star Wars RTS?
So there's two RTSs I was thinking about. One of them is made by the Age of Empires people. I don't want to do that on a stream right now because it probably isn't going to be super exciting. So I want to pick Empire at War because that is made by Command & Conquer people. It's less watching farms and shit like happen in real time. And it's more of conquering like the galaxy with the faction that you choose, but also this Empire at War has insane mods as far as people just made giant DLC campaigns for it, like a Thrawn campaign for it, a Clone Wars campaign for it that look amazing, have cutscenes.
I mean, you kind of seem like that's the one you want to play.
So Empire at War, I'm going to play just like the normal campaign at first, just to kind of learn the game before I jump into the expansions, or the mods for that matter, that are made. But it's leading up to, and this should time out pretty close to right, but Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, is having its 25th anniversary on May 5th, and I would like to play the Episode 3 video game. So I'm doing this leading up to it, so that's about 20-ish hours of either of those games. I'm assuming you guys are into Empire at War, and it'll be a little more
that's
excited about that. So yeah, we're gonna play Empire at War. I'm gonna stick with just the normal base version as far as playing through one campaign, and then we'll play through Episode 3. And then if I like it and really get into it, I am definitely 100% going to go into that Thrawn campaign because that sounds like super fun.
Is there any like visual mods and shit like that you could do?
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's some visual mods to make it look a little bit better as far as the main campaign. But as far as like the new stuff they put in, like the mods for like Thrawn and like the Clone Wars era, like those are all like new ships, new assets, everything, like CG cutscenes, not CG cutscenes, in-game cutscenes that look really good. It's wild what they did with that. But yeah, we'll be playing that later on. And then one last game. I'm still playing through Final Fantasy VII Remake, still enjoying myself. Had a little bit of a hiccup to where I'm playing this part, and this is gonna be kind of light spoilers. I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm not gonna spoil anything. I guess that's super new for the remake, but things that you might have heard from like the original game. So fairly old story points. I got through the whole plate falling down sequence. I knew what happened to certain characters. I did not think I was going to feel as emotionally tied to some of those characters as I was in the original game, because obviously they added more story and side stuff till I get to them. But like, and I'll bleep this out for everyone else, but for you guys, since you guys have played it, fucking killed me. Like dying in your arms,
that one's rough.
All, like right before the plate drops, like that fucking destroyed me. For him, that didn't hit me as much, but it's kind of sad. But as soon as fucking dude, like I was like, dude, like waterworks were happening. Like I wasn't like sobbing, but like I was like, man, this has hit me a lot harder than I thought.
Do you only care more?
No, because they gave him more story stuff, and it's always like fawning over you and fun stuff. He is a handsome looking guy. He's a very handsome looking guy, and he's named after a Star Wars character, so you'd think I would like him a little bit more.
So
maybe a Star Wars character named after him.
There is something about Final Fantasy VII in general, but remake does a good job of like really, bringing it to life, I should say. That first part of that story has got to hit a little different in today's, let's say, political climate, where a corporation decides to drop part of a floating rich city to prove a point to a bunch of poor people.
Well, and also they're going to blame it on Avalanche too. So it's like they're trying to do something
That's
bad.
what,
So Avalanche did it. Look at what.
But
you
that's
did.
that's what I mean. But Avalanche was an activist group that's trying to stop corporations doing what they want, and they were like, if you don't stop fucking around with us, we're gonna really show you what we're capable of, and they do. But it's one of those things where I was just thinking about that, where I was like, man, that's gotta hit different today.
I'm sure there were political bullshit
I
that was
think,
happening back then too. That probably would have hit roughly about the same.
I think, yeah. I think there were some things in that game that hit me because, like, I was never invested in 7 back in the day. So my first real intimate experience with it was Remake. And it's a spectacle, right? So I think they did a great job with the characters. I think they did a great job with the mood. So I could see why, you were more emotionally tied.
Oh yeah. I mean, they meant
some of the characters. They did.
Just their like backstory,
going home and going to see.
Yeah.
Man, like they did. I think they did a. Honestly, for me, I was very high on that game, much higher than Christian was, until the very, very end of that. Yeah. For me, and I haven't played the second. I'm sure I would enjoy the second one too. But I liked what they did. I thought I liked what they did with the characters. I think they did a good
I didn't have a problem with any of the characters in Remake.
No. But I'm talking about the ending you did not love, right? Just the way that, like, some of the things they did with.
No, but I thought it could be interesting. We don't have to do it again. But I just thought that the ending was fine. It's just the way they sort of ended
the story. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the way they ended it, I was like, it depends on how they stick the landing, right? Like, it's true. They end it, and they're like, hey, here's the stuff that happens. I know Preston's going to get into it, he's going to be finishing it shortly, so I won't just, like, spoil it right before he does it. But, like, things happen. They go, anything can happen. You're like, right on. And then...
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, for Preston, I think Preston's going to be more along the lines of me. As a spectacle of what they did, like, I was higher on it than you were because I wasn't as invested in the old game.
Yeah. Now, to be fair,
you were, right?
This whole remake game is covering the parts of Final Fantasy VII that I have played multiple times. I have never finished Final Fantasy VII because it's a really fucking long JRPG, and I wasn't that kind of guy. So this whole section is players that I've played more than once for sure. Ran into a little bit of a hiccup. This is a weird one. I got excited for a little bit because I thought I had it captured.
I've never heard of this bug before.
I thought I had it captured, but I forgot that I turned off automatic recording because it was draining my battery a little bit more because it's recording the entire time you're playing.
Oh, yeah, on your Steam Deck.
So I'm like, okay, let's turn off the recording. I thought I had it saved. I did not have it saved. So I'm in Chapter 14, kind of gathering the side quests because this is the section you're going to do all your side quests before you get to this one story point, and then you can't do these side quests ever again. So I'm going after the side quest, and I see this little, like, purple smoky mist that's going to a door, and it's like, obviously there's a boss battle there. So I'm like, okay, let's just go do it. We're right here. Let's go do it. I go to open the door. A loading screen pops up. This is not a spot where you normally hit a loading screen. It's showing me the picture of Wall Market, so it's loading me into Wall Market. I'm like, I'm not near Wall Market right now. It ends up loading a save from Chapter 13.
Wait, so you opened the door, and the door loaded a Chapter 13 save.
Yep. Something happened to where it freaked the fuck out and says, I don't know what to do now. Let's load a save. Let's load a save. I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, okay. Like, why am I Barrett here playing as Barrett when I was playing as Cloud, and in Wall Market, definitely during a story scene from 13. Like, oh shit, I'm in Chapter 13. I go look at my saves to load up a 14 save, a Chapter 14 save. There's no Chapter 14 save because it auto saved, and I didn't get because I was just picking up side quests. I didn't.
It auto saves every single time you load into a zone.
Yeah, so it auto saved into Chapter 13, and I didn't save beforehand because I was just picking up side quests. I didn't think I needed to save. So The soonest save I have is right at the end of 13, where you have to face the boss with Barrett and Tifa, where you're trying to save Wedge. So
That's a bonkers.
I had to play through that again, and I had to pick up all the side missions again in 14. It was very disheartening. I didn't play for a day or two because I'm like, I really don't want to do this again. And one night I'm like, dude, suck it the fuck up. We got to get through this because you like the game. Just get back to where you were. And luckily, if you're skipping all the cutscenes, it wasn't that bad. But there was, as far as timing is concerned, an hour and 45, an hour and a half of lost time as far as just whatever I did was just deleted. Luckily, it only took me another half an hour, 45 minutes because there's a lot of cutscene that happens during that time and a lot of dialogue I skipped to get back to where I was. So luckily it wasn't as bad getting back to it. So I am back to it.
There's been plenty of times that I've played games that require save where I either get greedy or just forget, and I've lost hours.
Yes, it does not feel good. It's a feels bad man situation.
It does.
Right?
I looked it up later after you telling me about this last weekend. I have not heard a single person.
It's a weird thing. It's not a known bug.
I wish I could have I wish you had footage of it so that you could have reported it.
I know. That's why I wish that recording thing was on. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's worth keeping that thing on for fucking losing a half an hour to 45 minutes of battery life if I could just catch shit like that happening.
Yeah, because I'd have sent it to Square and been like, bro, you guys need to pull diagnostics on my fucking game and tell me what the fuck happened here.
Fuck happened? Yeah. So I don't know. It freaked the fuck out. It decided to load a save and saved over my autosave. So it was fun.
Oh,
it's great.
Man.
That's crazy.
But I still like the game. I'm not going to title this episode Final Fantasy VII Remake is Still Broken because I don't want the fucking fans coming after me. But
you should. It's great engagement.
Nice. Yeah. Dude, we can get plenty of people in there. We'll get another most disliked video again.
No, they'd have came if they had found that video of me fucking going crazy about Rebirth.
What you should name this is Christian and Alex replay Cyberpunk and it still sucks, even though this has nothing to do with Cyberpunk at all.
Dude, I can't.
And then let that guy come back about it being clickbaity.
I cannot wait till I actually end up playing Cyberpunk and just be able to come back and be like, it's not great, guys. And I'll be open minded about it. Don't get me wrong. I will go into there wanting to like the game because Cyberpunk's a very cool setting. Big fan of Keanu Reeves, and I don't hate first-person games, so we'll see how it goes.
told Christian it was not that broken because I did not have those experiences.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I told him. I told Christian.
Must be just you, man. You must be running a shitty hardware. I don't know what kind of RAM you got in there, or what kind of GPU you have. That must be bad. So
he probably is.
That's it for my week. That's all I got.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging with us, everybody. Join us later this week as we dive into our first part of our second book club, where we're playing Jusant. We're just going to say it more French.
I know.
We have to do it.
More cartoonized French we can.
Yeah. So we're going to dive into that, but thanks for hanging with us.
The thumbnail should just be the girl from Jusant with a cigarette in her mouth.
Sacre bleu, Jusant.
With that, Preston, you know what to do.
Jusant.
Thank you for listening to another episode of The Testing Room. To catch up on past episodes or check out the newest ones when they drop, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. If watching is more your thing, check out youtube.com/thetestingroom or Twitch TV/testingroompod. To leave comments and ask questions, follow us on Instagram @testingroompod and email us at testingroompod@gmail.com. See you next time.